Summer 2012. I played 4 times at Foxwoods. I was between graduating undergrad and moving to Wisconsin for a full-time job. And I played 4 times at Foxwoods. I thought I would never play again. I would be at that job and live in that apartment in Wisconsin for 25 years. And I knew there was a casino about 80 miles away. I lived in Madison. The casino was in Milwaukee. So I know roughly what those 4 Foxwoods sessions were. It was about $1,500 in about 25 hours, but I didn't keep that after that year because I thought I would never play again. So my poker records start July 4th weekend 2013. My parents came to visit me in Wisconsin, and as much as they can't stand me playing poker, they're the reason I still play, because they wanted to explore Milwaukee before we went to a Mets-Brewers game that afternoon, and I didn't think Milwaukee had much to explore, so I told them to drop me off at the casino and pick me up right before the game. So I played. I got all in once. I hadn't played except for those 4 Foxwoods sessions since Black Friday. It had been like 2 years, and I thought poker was just like solved. I got all in once. I went all in on the turn with kings on 9-5-5-4, and a guy called with 9-8. His 8 wasn't even good. He was already counterfeited. He had 2 outs, 2 nines, didn't hit. I couldn't believe that people were still doing things like that. I knew they used to. I couldn't believe it was still happening. So once I saw that, I started going all the time. I was working at a UPS. I would start at like 4 a.m. and I would drive there at night, play as much as I could, drive back 80 miles to get to UPS in Middleton, Wisconsin by 4 a.m. So thought I would never play again, and just now, about 15 minutes ago at MGM, I hit 10,000 hours. So I've just been walking back and forth on the bridge between New York, and MGM to tell this story, but gotta get back in there, because there's another 10,000 hours to play. All right, 2 stories. I played 10 hours 1 minute today. When I get back to my room, I'll tell you exactly how much I've made in 10,000 hours. But don't mind the crows and the pigeons if they're flying around. I'm at Smith's for some food, obviously. 2 great things that happened today. One, the guy in the 9 seat at our MGM table all night, he was a little odd. He talked a lot. I liked how social he was. He said, "Mirrors freak me out." That was the quote of the night. And what he meant was that everything's backwards when you look in a mirror, and he can't handle that. He said, yeah, sometimes I'm using a scissor, and I know it's in my right hand, but in the mirror, it's in my left hand. And I get so confused, and I lose track of it, and I'm worried I'm going to cut myself. So I can't use a scissor if there are mirrors anywhere near me. Mirrors freak me out. All right, that was a new one, but that guy was great for the table. I heard he had terrible breath, which is why people kept changing from the 8 seat over to the 3, but I was in the 1 seat, so there was the dealer between us all night, and I didn't have that problem. The next thing that happened, when I was leaving MGM and going to Bally's, there was this woman walking ahead of me through the lobby. You walk through the lobby, there's an escalator down to that basement level, and then you go down that hallway to get to the parking garage. So through the lobby, she was ahead of me. She stops at one point to do cell phone things. And by the way, she was either a hooker or, not a hooker, but dressed like one for the night. She stops, and I get ahead of her. So I'm on that escalator first. I'm about halfway down the escalator when I hear her step on. And she didn't say a word walking through the lobby, but now on the escalator up behind me, she says, "Oh, I really need to pee. I can't hold it." I mean, there's a bathroom pretty close to the bottom of the escalator. I don't look back, but I hear urine hitting the escalator. I kind of turned a little bit. She had squatted down on the escalator and just started peeing on the escalator. So it wasn't going to hit me. I was far enough ahead, but I ran down the last few steps anyway. And then once I got to the ground, like started walking quickly to like really distance myself. So I got my 10,000 hours in, and one guy was freaked out by mirrors, even though he understands exactly what goes on in mirrors. Everything's the opposite, but that was still too much for him. And then a woman in MGM peed on the escalator. So 3 pretty cool things happened tonight. Played my 10 hours. And when I get back to my room in a few minutes, I'll tell you how much money I made in 10,000 hours of poker.